Well, hey friends, welcome to our channel. It is a beautiful spring day here in West Michigan, and I'm just so glad that you have taken the time to come hang out with us as we talk about planting lettuce today, how to sow it, how to grow it, and even a little bit how to harvest it. And you know, this is an exciting day for us as we've been wanting to create content for a while now, and I kept putting it off thinking, man, there's so much stuff on YouTube already. Why would anybody want to watch this? And I've always just thought, you know, I don't have any experience in this, but today's the day. I figure why not just do it and try it and see what happens. So this is a product of that. I hope that you enjoy it today on Getty Homestead. All right, like I mentioned in the intro, today we're going to be talking about lettuce plants, and I want to walk you through the steps of how we do it. The first thing that we do is we take a seed tray, small seed tray like this, and we fill it with the medium that you have of choice. This just happens to be some homemade compost that we made here on the farm. It's basically leftover plant material from last year's garden. We also have some composted chicken bedding. We have chickens here on the farm, and so this is our first year making compost, and I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. You know, with lettuce, I've found in my few years of growing it, it really needs a medium that is well drained. It has draining capabilities. And I found that what helps in this is actually combining vermiculite with our potting medium. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm just going to dump it into this pot. This is our homemade compost. And I'm also going to dump in about the same amount of vermiculite here and give it a good stir to mix it in really well. So I hope that you can see this. I know my video quality is to be desired, is lacking, but you can see this is homemade compost with vermiculite mixed in. And what I'm going to do is just transfer that to my seed tray. And I'm going to tamp it down a little bit. And then what I like to do right off the bat is to water it down really well. So I've just got some water here. I'm going to water it in. And I want to make sure that this is completely soaked. So once that settles in, let that run through a little bit. As you can see, it's really got some good drainage to it. It's not sitting on top. So that's a good sign, that's what you want. The beauty of starting lettuce seeds in a seed tray like this is that it's really easy to take care of a lot of seeds in a small area. For example, I'm going to show you this in just a little while as I show you what to do with it. But this is a tray that I planted about 7 days ago. And you can see in this little tray, I've got probably 100 lettuce seedlings in there. So it's really easy to take care of, to tend to make sure it's watered. And this is probably no bigger than the size of a toaster sitting on your counter. So really great way to start it. And all that I do is take my seedlings, or my seeds. Here is a few that I really like. We really have come to enjoy these on our farm. This is a lettuce called Winter Density. It's very hardy for the winter, but it's also a great summer crop too. So what I like to do is just plant in lines. Just slowly spread some out into lines. Here's another one called 2-star lettuce. And then I will do the same thing in another line. And our last one we're going to plant today is a Lola Rosa lettuce. So we will make another separate line of just these seeds. And then what I like to do is take my homemade labels here, write down the variety, and stick them in there so that I know what is what. So after you have your seeds in lines, what I'll do is I'll come back through with a little bit more of our seed starting mixture, and I will lightly cover the tops of those seeds and give it one more good water. Now if you're watching this this week or sometime in the next month and you're from Michigan, it's supposed to get cold again. So one thing that seeds need to germinate is heat. So we actually start all of our seeds this time of year in our basement. And once they're germinated, if it's a cool weather crop, we put them outside in our greenhouse, and I can show you that in a little while. But that is ready to go. That probably has, I don't know, 30 to 40 seeds in it. And that'll go in our basement. And once they germinate, I'll show you what to do next. So this is, as I showed you earlier, a tray of lettuce that we planted on the 15th. That's about 10 days ago, and you can see they're good sized seedlings. What do we do from here? There's a lot of seedlings in one area, and I'm going to show you that today real quick. What I like to do is plant out each one of these into a seed tray. This is just a standard 128 cell from Greenhouse Megastore. And what we'll do is we will fill this tray up with our homemade compost, and then I will show you what we do from there. So let me fill this up real quick and we'll get back at you. All right, now that I got that tray filled, what I like to do is go through and make sure that each cell is as compacted as possible. So I go through with my fingers and just push down the compost. You know, one of the things that this does is allows you to get out a nice full cell when you go to plant them out that doesn't fall apart. So I'll go through and push all these down, and then I will add more compost on top. You know, the thing with homemade compost, you get a lot of extra things in it. That's okay. Just pick them out. And once I have this all compacted in, we'll be ready to water it and get going. Another thing that compacting it in does is make sure that you have a lot of nutrients for these plants for the time that they're going to be in this tray. We'll probably keep these in here for about another 3 to 4 weeks before we plant them out into our garden beds. Now, since lettuce is a cool, cold hardy crop, these will stay right in the greenhouse, even though it's projected to get pretty cold yet in the 30s. Lettuce will do just fine in that. All right, so got some extra here. It's back in my bucket. All right, so now that the tray is full, I am going to water it real good, make sure that it's completely saturated, and get all my lettuce packets wet at the same time. All right, now that that's good and saturated, it's time to take out our lettuce seedlings from this seed tray and transplant them into this cell tray. And so what I like to do, it's important to stay organized since you have so many seedlings of different varieties. As you can see here, I have 6 different varieties in this little tray. So it's really important to label. So I'm going to take our winter density, I'm going to put that in the seed tray. Now what you need to do this is a pencil. You could also use a dowel that has been put into a point. but a pencil works great. What I like to do is just take it right in the center of the cell, put it all the way in, and rotate it just a little bit. What you're doing is making just a little hole for these seedlings to sit into. And so for all of these cells, I'm just going to make and dib a little hole. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this pencil and I'm going to gently ease up on these seedlings. They've got a pretty good root on them, being 10 days old, but they're actually very hardy. And so what I like to do is just pull out a chunk of seedlings, set them down, and then it's really as easy as grabbing one, separating the roots. As you can see, here it is right here. Got the seedling and the roots. And all I do is I take my pencil and I take the roots and I push it into the hole. Now the important thing is to push it all the way down to the cotyledon leaves. Stems don't rot, and so you can bury it all the way up to those first leaves. So again, I take my seedling, take my pencil, and I push the roots all the way down in the compost, and then lightly backfill. When I first did this, it was pretty intimidating because I thought that these seedlings were going to get ruined if we handled them rough. They're actually very, very hardy. I'm very surprised actually with how hardy these seedlings are. One of the nice things about doing it this way is when you're done, you have a nice full tray of seedlings. When you plant the seeds into a tray like this, a lot of times, you'll get some that don't germinate, and so you have cells that don't have plants in them, or you get a lot of them and you have to thin them out. There's nothing like that with this method. You get a nice organized full tray of seedlings every time, and you can pick out the strongest seedlings from your seed tray. So I'm going to continue with this. I don't think you want to watch me do all 128 cells, but I'm going to continue doing this until I have this tray full, and I'll get back with you with the finished product. All right, well, here we are with a full tray of pricked out lettuce. As you can see, some of them are buried so far that you can barely see the tips of their leaves. That is okay. It's actually going to grow a very strong plant. Didn't take me too long, probably about 10 minutes to do all of these. Now what I'll do with this is just keep it in the greenhouse, and they will grow on from here for about 4 weeks. And then from there, what I do is I take out the cell, and what I do is I take, let's see if I can do this here, out a homemade dibber tool that I made. It's just the handle of a wheelbarrow, and I dib a hole into the soil, and then I put my cell with my seedling in it, and then just backfill lightly. As you can see, I've done this here with spinach, and here's some lettuce that I pricked out about 4 weeks ago that I just planted this weekend, and you can see they're doing great. Starting to get some leaves, and here's some kale as well. All right, so there it is, how to plant lettuce. This is the way that we found that works really well for us. Try it out. Let me know if it works for you. It gives us a beautiful tray of lettuce, and they love to grow in that homemade compost. Again, thanks so much for joining me today. Such an honor to have you here on our channel. If you did like the video, press the like button, subscribe to our channel. We're hoping to do more of these sorts of videos. Let us know if these were helpful to you. So until the next time, happy growing, have a great day, and we will talk to you then.